Okay, guys, I'm here for another retro review. Most likely my final retro review for the month. And it's a WCW pay-per-view. Yes, we're visiting our good friends at WCW today. And this time I'm reviewing WCW Uncensored, 1996. A couple months ago, back I think it was in April or someday, I reviewed Uncensored 95, and I said it was the worst WCW show in existence. It definitely is one of them. This show, while better than Uncensored 96, 95, it actually, Uncensored 95 is unwatchable. This one actually I can recommend watching for a couple of situations. So this took place on March the 24th, 1996 from the Tupulo Civic Center or the Tupulo Coliseum in Tupelo, Mississippi. Opening contest, WCW Cruiserweight Championship match, Konnan versus Eddie Guerrero. 4-star match here. Good match. Very good match. It's the match of the night here, actually. Finish comes when Eddie Guerrero goes for a leapfrog and Konnan accidentally gives him a low blow, and then Konnan pins him for the win. Yeah, it's a 4-star match, so I had no problem with it. So then we get Lord Steven Regal versus the Belfast Bruiser in a 1-star match that, quite frankly, is boring. And that's the problem with Regal and Fit Finlay. WCW let them, when they were wrestling each other, and WWE did this at Great American Bash of 2006, let them basically wrestle the European style. Well, the European style is not the most fast-paced style, and quite frankly, it's kind of boring to sit through and watch, and that's what this is. And the match ends by a disqualification. Now, I could argue, since this is uncensored, why are there disqualifications? But to be fair, the only time the WCW ever made a big deal about Uncensored having no DQs was the first one in 95. Because I think there's DQs in at least one match on every Uncensored past this one. Could be wrong, though. 1-star match. So then we get Madusa versus Colonel Parker. Yeah, from what I know, this is Madusa's first pay-per-view match. She's facing Colonel Parker. It's a half a star for the fact that it is an entertaining match. That's it. It's a half a star for the fact that it's a little entertaining match. It's not a good wrestling match, but it is a good for comedy purposes, and it gets a half a star for that. Colonel Parker wins when Madusa hits her German suplex. Dick Slater pulls Madusa's foot off, and then Parker just rolls into the cover and gets the win. Kind of an odd finish. So half a star. So we get the Booty Man versus Diamond Dallas Page. Now this was meant to be Johnny B. Bad, but after Johnny B. Bad lost the TV title to Lex Luger, Johnny B. Bad up and went to the WWE. In fact, Tony Schiavone actually makes mention of this on commentary, because this is when Eric Bischoff was trying to do everything in his power to totally bury the WWF in whatever way possible. So even though if you look at where they were going with Mark Merrill, had he not gotten injured, you could argue that he might have had a successful career in the WWE. Until his knee injury happened, which allowed Sable to overshadow him, and that's really where he went to the downfall, was due to a knee injury. But that's for an entirely different thing altogether. So, yeah, the Booty Man is, of course, Brutus Beefcake. So, 1.5 stars. Not a bad match. It's not remotely boring, but it's not that great. Booty Man wins with a high knee. And the stipulation was that if DDP lost, he would quit wrestling, but if he won, he would get the remainder of whatever money that the Diamond Doll won that he stole back in the storyline. Now, he was backed by Slamboree because of a loophole. Someone found it because he didn't wrestle for the TV title. That thing should be null and void then, or something like that. 1.5 stars. So then we get Giant versus Giant #1 Contenders match. the 7'4", 500-pound giant versus the 600-pound Loch Ness Monster, who was originally supposed to be in this main event here, but was pulled out of it by Jimmy Hart. So, yeah. This is no stars. This isn't even... This is just bad. Giant wins, goes on to face Flair the next night on Nitro, and I believe that's where he won the WCW World Championship for the second time. Because when he won in Halloween 95 does count as a title reign, I believe, in WCW, but I could be wrong on that too. So, 0 stars. Worst match on this card. So then we get a Chicago Street Fight. The Road Warriors versus Sting and Booker T. Now you're probably wondering, why are Sting and Booker T on the same team when Booker T was with Harlem Heat? Well, I guess this match is supposed to be Sting and Luger against the Road Warriors, but Luger got put into the main event, so Sting needed a partner against the Road Warriors. So Booker T volunteered, and Booker T volunteered if Sting and Luger would get, and the stipulation for Sting and Booker T was if Sting and Booker were successful, then Harlem Heat would get a tag title shot or something like that. This is a 3-star Chicago Street Fight. Booker T lures Hawk to the back. Jimmy Hart and Lex lure Animal to the back. Jimmy Hart and Lex Luger beat Animal up, and they handcuff him to a post back there. And then Booker T comes out with, Steve Ray comes out with a chair, hits Hawk, and then that gets the win for Sting and Booker T. 3-star Chicago Street Fight. Not a bad Chicago for Street Fight. I've seen better. Actually, this is one of the better Street Fights I've seen. So, yeah. Not bad. 3 stars. So then we get what this pay-per-view is built around. The Doomsday Cage Match. What is a Doomsday Cage? Well, it's a 4-tier cage. There's a cage on top, cage here, and then a 3rd cage, 4th cage here. Okay, there's a cage up at the top, and then there's another cage below that cage with 2 guys in it, branched off from another cage with 2 guys in it, another cage, and there's a ring there surrounded by another cage. And there are 8 people that in each of these 2 cages. The top cage has 2, both middle cages have 2 each, so there's 4 there, and there's 2 at the bottom. This is a very hard match to explain because it's really weird. But it's Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage versus the Alliance to End Hulkamania. Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, the Taskmaster, Lex Luger, the Faces of Fear, the Z Gangster, and the Ultimate Solution. Yes, this is Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage basically defeating 8 guys in one match. Yeah, and in case you wonder who the Z Gangster is, WCW brought Zeus back. As if SummerSlam 89 wasn't enough, we had to deal with Zeus back in the year 1996, nearly 10 years after he was relevant. In fact, about 7 years after Zeus's relevancy happened. Sorry. So yeah, this is 1.5 stars. Like I said, Hogan and Savage win. This is a hard match to rate because it's a hard match to describe. So it's kind of like the Tower of Doom match that WCW had back at the Great American Bash in 1988, but it's different than that too. So it's kind of hard to really rate this. It's 1.5 stars, but I don't really know how I can properly rate this kind of a match. So out of 35 stars, this show gets 11.5. So while Uncensored 95 got an F, this is a D show. This is actually a D show. So it's a full grade above what Uncensored 95 is. So this will be in my Retro Wrestling Review playlist that I have. The SummerSlam Review series will be starting this Saturday on my here. And if I feel like it, there'll be a retro review tomorrow, but that depends. So if you like this video, like button is down there, subscribe button is down there, and thank you for watching. Bye.